Hello everyone, welcome to the very first episode of The Split Decision. I'm Elias Blanco. Each week we'll look at the biggest headlines, reports, and action throughout the past week in boxing. Now over this past weekend, it was a stacked one. We had 3 world title fights in Japan, and Edgar Berlanga was back in action. And also, shout out to Jay Harris because he became the British, Commonwealth, and European flyweight champion over the weekend. Now without further ado, let's get to the fights. On Saturday, Takuma Inoue, the younger brother of undisputed champion Naoya Inoue, made his first defense of his WBA bantamweight title, a title that his older brother last held, beating Jerwin Ancajas. Inoue displayed elite footwork and movement in this fight. His speed and counterpunching was making it difficult for Ancajas to get on the inside and get comfortable. But in the 9th round, Inoue caught Ancajas with a right hook to the body, finishing the fight. Now, this is Inoue's 5th knockout of his career, and he improves to 19-1. In the co-main event of that Japanese card, Junto Nakatani became a 3-division world champion, stopping Alexandro Santiago for the WBC bantamweight title. Nakatani utilized his long reach and lead jab to keep Santiago at a distance, neutralizing any attack coming his way. In the 6th round, though, Nakatani catches Santiago with a hard straight right, and that was the beginning of the end. He becomes a 3-division world champion in just 3 years, and improves to 27-0. All right, so let's look at the full main card results from that Japan fight card. Obviously, we talked about it. Takuma Inoue stopped Jerwin Ancajas in the 9th round to retain his WBA bantamweight title. Junto Nakatani, now a 3-division world champion, beating Alexandro Santiago. Kosai Tanaka defeated the well-gamed Christian Bakasegwa to win the vacant WBO junior bantamweight title. And Ricky Masuda, man, he is a killer. He actually knocked out Jonas Sultan in the 1st round. So it was a really good night of fights in Japan. It was a great way to start your Saturday morning. So coming out of that event, the MVP of the card for me was Junto Nakatani. I mean, the man won a 3rd world title in his 3rd division in just 3 years. He stopped a guy in Alexandro Santiago who is an explosive inside fighter, and Nakatani just neutralized that and made him trigger shy. So what's next for Junto Nakatani? Well, there's 2 roads that he could go to that could lead to the same destination. Path number 1, he could stay at bantamweight and look to become undisputed there, eventually moving up to super bantamweight. I think he's already the best and most dangerous boxer at 118, so it could happen by the end of the year. Or number 2, move up to super bantamweight, beat a few top contenders, and become a mandatory. Both roads, I believe, will lead to a super fight against the monster, Naoya Inoue. I personally believe that a fight between Naoya Inoue and Junto Nakatani would be the biggest fight in Japan in the modern era. A fight worthy of selling out the Tokyo Dome. Think about it. On one side, you have arguably the pound-for-pound best boxer in the world today, and on the other side, you have a young boxer who's already on a similar path. Whatever happens next, Junto Nakatani is a star, and his star power is just going to continue to grow. Later that night, Edgar Berlanga is back to his finishing ways after stopping Padraig McCrory over the weekend. This fight, we saw a more calculated and more polished version of Berlanga. In the 6th round, a looping right hook in traffic was the beginning of the end for McCrory. Berlanga breaks a 5-fight knockout drought and improves to 22-0. So, what's next for Edgar Berlanga? In this fight, fans were expecting nothing less than a spectacular knockout. And not only did he achieve that, but he also showcased a much improved version of himself. Now, with that being said, is he a top contender at 168 pounds? Well, yes and no. I believe now we know Edgar Berlanga is not a hype job who only looks good against low-quality fighters. But can I see him beating the top 5 guys in the division? Not necessarily. Think about it. Canelo Alvarez, David Benavidez, Christian Mbili, Caleb Plant, David Morrell, and Jaime Munguia. That's 6 fighters, and it's hard to favor Berlanga in any of those matchups. That being said, I truly believe Berlanga put himself in the conversation for those fights, specifically against Canelo Alvarez. A fight between Canelo and Berlanga would be a pay-per-view fight. two power punchers with fan-friendly styles, it has all the makings of a main event. Not to mention that the fan base they both have is enormous. Whatever happens next, there are plenty of options now for the chosen one. Right before Edgar Berlanga's win, a blue chip prospect impressing boxing fans once again. Andy Cruz wins his third professional bout, beating Brian Zamorippa by unanimous decision. For 10 rounds, the Olympic gold medalist controlled the pace of the fight and dissected the body. And for a guy who has only had 3 pro fights, he's already looking like a veteran. Cruz improves to 3-0 and is reminding me a lot of Vasily Lomachenko's path to a world title. I guarantee you this, by 2025, Andy Cruz will be a world champion. All right, so let's take a look ahead at the upcoming fights this week. First, on March 1st, the hard-hitting Abbas Barrow takes on Sam Edgington in a junior middleweight bout. I believe that fight is in Germany. I am excited for that fight. What a great way to kick off the weekend. On Saturday, March 2nd, 2 separate cards that evening. First, Top Rank for the vacant WBA featherweight title. The hard-hitting Odabek Kolmatov takes on the slick Raymond Ford. That has the making of an exciting fight. I'm ready for that. In the co-main event of that card, Luis Alberto Lopez will defend his IBF featherweight title against mandatory challenger Ria Abe. Ria Abe is somebody that you can't overlook. That man is slick. That man is dangerous. I think that's going to be an exciting fight and a tough challenge for Lopez. MVP Promotions that night, Amanda Serrano will take on Nina Menke in a 12-round bout. Listen, women's boxing is going up. Amanda Serrano is a trailblazer. A 12-round bout in women's boxing is a rarity, and she's had, I think, 1 or 2 at this point. In the undercard, Jonathan Gonzalez will defend his WBO junior flyweight title against Rene Garcia. I'm excited for that fight. I think that's going to be a technical matchup. And also on that card, Jake Paul and Wonna Walton will be in action. Jake Paul obviously just beat a pro boxer. He's fighting another pro boxer in this card. And Wonna Walton, 17 years old, making his pro debut. I am super excited for this Saturday, and I'm excited for this weekend of boxing. Speaking of boxing, boxing's moneymaker is back. Gervonta Tank Davis is returning to the ring in a big way. It is reported that Tank has agreed to defend his WBA lightweight title against Frank Martin. The fight will be a PBC pay-per-view fight targeted for spring or early summer. This will be a fight between 2 legitimate lightweights. Both fighters are undefeated and ranked in the top 10 of the Ring Magazine ratings. Davis last beat Ryan Garcia last May, while Martin fought in July. Let's move up 5 pounds to super lightweight. Devin the Dream Haney versus Ryan Garcia is officially set. The two will fight on April 20th at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Their press conference is scheduled for tomorrow afternoon, and then they will have another one on Thursday in Los Angeles. If the press conference is anything like their previous face-off, we should expect some fireworks. All right, well, after months of speculation, it looks like David Benavidez is pulling the trigger and is moving up in weight. The Mexican monster is set to move up to light heavyweight and take on former WBC light heavyweight champion Alexander Gvozdyk in June. Now, this fight will be for the interim WBC belt and become the mandatory for the winner of the undisputed clash between Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev. Now, if Benavidez wins this fight, he would now become the WBC mandatory for light heavyweight and super middleweight. Now, what would that mean for his status at 168? We'll talk about that later. The biggest grudge match in British boxing this year is officially sold out. Tickets for Jack Catterall versus Josh Taylor 2 sold out on the first day of sales. The first day. This fight is taking place in front of over 13,000 fans in Leeds, England. Last week was the first press conference promoting the rematch, with Taylor and Catterall both exchanging words.
This time doesn't allow the...
I put you on your ass your last fight.
Yeah,
and you got smashed in your last fight.
You still got beat because you were the rest of the fight.
See straight. I'm going to smash you to pieces.
So there you go. So you lost. Why don't you go and phone the police? Why don't you go phone the police again? Go phone the...
Now, as we all know, the first fight ended in a controversial split decision in Josh Taylor's favor. This rematch, though, will happen on April 27th in Leeds, England. The junior bantamweight division continues to excite boxing fans. It is reported that a fight between WBC champion Juan Francisco Estrada and unified flyweight champion Jesse Bam Rodriguez is progressing well. Now, this junior bantamweight division is crazy. I mean, you have Estrada, Kazuto Ioka, Fernando Martinez, CCK Sor Rungvisai, and now you have Bam Rodriguez. I'm telling you right now, 115, there's so many dream matchups. A key fight in the heavyweight division just might be twice as nice. Joseph Parker has revealed that his upcoming fight against Zhilei Zhang has a rematch clause. This will give Zhang the option to force a second fight if he were to lose. Now, this is because Zhang is the current WBO interim title holder and mandatory for the winner of the Tyson Fury-Alexander Usyk fight. Parker versus Zhang is scheduled to happen next month on the Anthony Joshua-Francis Ngannou undercard. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the championship round, where we ran about the biggest topics in boxing over the past week. And this very first one goes to the face of boxing, Mr. Canelo Alvarez. Now, we know he is scheduled to fight on Cinco de Mayo weekend. He always does this. It's a tradition. He always fights in the beginning of May. But the confusion on who he will fight next has been drawing criticism from boxing fans alike. First, he said on TV that his next opponent is going to be an American, with many speculating that opponent would be WBC middleweight champion Jermall Charlo. Now, personally, I enjoy my fair share of Charlo fights in the past, but the man is not active and he is not in your division. So that's one issue I have with this next fight. The other one is the fact that the PBC is reportedly offering $35 million guaranteed to Canelo to fight Jaime Munguia, a boxer who is not even in their promotion. Now, I get it. You want Canelo to fight an undefeated Mexican fighter who has a fan-friendly style. Now, if only the PBC had one of those guys on their books. Oh wait, I know one, and he has been the mandatory for Canelo for over 3 years. What is it going to take for David Benavidez to finally get that fight? Now, I get it. Canelo has taken extra precaution with his career, especially after losing to Dimitri Bivol in 2022 and now that he's reaching his mid-30s. But please, don't lie to boxing fans. Last week, Eddie Reynoso said that none of the big promoters made an offer to fight David Benavidez. Well, Eddie, newsflash, you guys are the A side. You guys are supposed to be making those offers. Now, in no way, shape, or form am I saying Canelo's ducking Benavidez, but he's definitely making it difficult for that fight to happen. Canelo Alvarez is the undisputed face of boxing, but for the past 2 years, he's been fighting guys that are heavily in his favor, whether they're underweight or they're not in the top 5 of 168. Ladies and gentlemen, in real time, I see Canelo Alvarez, the fighter, becoming Canelo Alvarez, the businessman. That being said, I'm still going to watch his fight on May 4th, and I know that he's going to continue growing his legacy. Guys, that is all the time we have today for the split decision. Thank you guys for watching the very first episode. Please sure to like, share, and subscribe. We're going to have videos every week talking about the sweet science. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Elias Blanco, and I'm out.